The latest AP Top 25 poll has Washington State as the first team outside the rankings. With a win this weekend, they'll certainly find themselves ranked for the first time this season. The only thing about getting said win is it's going to be real tough. Washington State on the road at 6th ranked USC.
These are the weeks where everyone understands what's at stake. Everyone understands the challenge. Everyone understands going in to this environment and playing big-time football. But that's also why our guys are here. They're excited for it, and we're going to be ready.
USC is a national championship contender at this point in the season. They've done so with a star quarterback in Caleb Williams, who Coach Dickert said he sees playing on Sundays. The task this weekend isn't stopping, but containing Williams.
I mean, this guy is a weapon, and he uses every weapon at his disposal. So you don't shut down anybody that is this caliber. You just got to hopefully you can get some hits on him when he runs, and you got to affect him and not let him be on his spots, but you can't let him get out and beat you off a deep scramble play. So it's a very unique challenge, and we need to be at our best on Saturday to win this game.
If the offense isn't scary enough, the Trojans' defense has been equally impressive.
They've been phenomenal. This isn't just a one-sided deal. I think they do lead the country in interceptions, if I'm not right, if not pick sixes for sure. It's an aggressive style attack, and they've been playing really well, and they're playing very good complementary football. So this is a well-rounded team, and I think that's the biggest thing. This isn't just an offense.
While Washington State is a 13-point underdog, Coach Dickert and the Cougs are ready to prove they're also a team to fear.
We got to pick and choose our spots to play aggressively. And when we do that, we got to trust our guys are going to make plays too. We got good players too. That's the exciting part, right? And they get to go show that. So it isn't just them, and I understand the challenge, but I love our guys.
WSU at USC will kick off at 4:30 this Saturday in Los Angeles and will be nationally televised on Fox. Reporting in Pullman, Travis Green, KREM 2 Sports.
Coach, just from watching the tape this past week, just anything that stood out kind of about Cam, the ups and downs of that game, obviously the touchdowns and the great throws, but also the 2 interceptions. What did you kind of notice on the tape?
Well, I just think it was a little bit of pressing in those moments. Cal did a good job of not always changing up something completely different, but I thought they changed the looks a lot in the pictures, and I thought they did a good job disguising that. So the first one was just a miss of a one high safety, kind of throwing in that coverage, and the second one was just, a bad decision on the run, right? And we'll take some of that, but he's owned it, he's looked at it, he knows where we need to be, but I think it's a bigger thing as a team, just the turnover margin and trying to win big games down the stretch in league. We got to have those in the plus category, which we were last year. So we need to get back to that. So I think Cam owns it, but there was plenty of really, really good moments. And I think sometimes it's trusting the boxes and taking the runs, and I think he saw a lot of those things where he'd get better.
On the last scoring drive, we kind of see a lot of the tight ends, and the running backs are breaking free on big runs, and a lot of that comes because Andre or Billy are doing their job in blocking. Then, of course, Billy catches the touchdown. Is that kind of what the ideal tight end role is for you?
Yeah, I mean, we'd love it to be very multiple, right? I thought you saw a good glimpse of that. You saw Billy motioning out to space, motioning in from space. I mean, blocking. I think Andre in particular, because Billy's strength is blocking, has gotten a lot better in technique, and now that he's into his 3rd game. So I think those guys' role just keeps expanding. But I think at the end of the game, both of them out there doing different things, being multiple, I think it's a good place to be. So we just need to pop some of those runs a little earlier, take some stress off the offense a little sooner. But our yards per carry, the analytics side of it has been good this year, just too many negative runs. And I think that's been a focus of trying to keep the ball moving forward.
Last year in the Sun Bowl, maybe not the best of debuts for Christian Hilborn, and I think if you look at him now, it's a complete 180. There's a lot of those runs came behind the left side of the line. Just what have you seen from his progress taking on that left guard role and now really being a stalwart at that spot?
I would say this was by far his best game, okay, coming off by far his worst game. Okay, and we challenged him all week because I think he had more in the tank, that he could strain and finish and be tougher and more aggressive. And then to turn it on, it was out there on Saturday, right? So I told Christian it's a choice. And I think it comes from habits. He's still a freshman. He still has a long ways to go, but he's getting better each week. And I think that combination, to your point, the Kingston-Christian combination is starting to play more aggressive and more downhill, and really proud of Hilborn, and he was our offensive lineman of the week just within the team, and I thought he did a really good job of playing his best out there.
When you look at the film of USC and just with those connections and the air raid, background. Just how similar do you guys seem to be offensively and schematics and everything?
Very different. I was surprised when I turned the tape on. Very different. USC is way more of a 50-50 run-pass split on base downs, where we're about 70-30 right now. They're really established in the run. I mean, they got threats everywhere, and I'm not saying they can't pass. They got one of the best quarterbacks in the country. They got 3 of the best receivers in the country. They got one of the best O-line in the country, first-team all-conference tailback. So they do a lot of things, but I would say drastically different there. Not as much true air raid concepts, but a little bit different, and they're taking the ball over the top, and the quarterback is unbelievable off schedule. And it's weird to say maybe the first pick in the draft you want to keep him in the pocket and let him throw, because he's so dangerous outside of it, and he's untouchable when he runs. So it's a unique challenge, but it's different. He can still take off and run, and they have some more design runs for the quarterback as well.
Yeah, I know the offense has been a big talking point with the media about USC, but defense is kind of quietly. I mean, they have the top, I think, leading the nation in turnovers. What kind of makes them tough on that?
They've been phenomenal. Like this isn't just a one-sided deal. They 4 down a lot, but they move more than you would see most teams move up front. So there's to be a lot of movement, which creates a lot of negative plays and a lot of attacking plays. And the coverage aspect of it has been very good. And I think they do lead the country in interceptions, if I'm not right. If not, pick sixes for sure. 3 in one game will help that. But it's an aggressive style attack, and they've been playing really well, and they're playing very good complementary football. So this is a well-rounded team, and I think that's the biggest thing. This isn't just an offense.
And for you guys, kind of an overarching deal here. What do you think, maybe positionally or in terms of team trends from week 1 to now? Is there an area of the game you think you've made most progress in?
Our team, you're saying?
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I just think it's still a battle of consistency of what we're capable of doing offensively, and I think that's an exciting piece of it. I thought the O-line after probably the first 2 series last week really settled in, and I thought they did an efficient, good job. But like I said, it's going to be the turnovers and be more consistent. And then, I loved our response in the pass game, defending the pass last week. And that is exactly what we're going to have this week. We can't have explosive plays going against us because they can score in a hurry. So we got to make sure, especially at the defensive back position, that communication is high and that we're keeping the ball in front.
Coach, vertical passes were obviously more of a focus against Cal and open up some of your offense. How can we expect to see more of this going forward?
Like I said last week, there's a lot that goes into that, right? From protection to reads to routes. And I think it's moment, it's time, it's tempo, taking the ball down there, it's finding matchups, it's winning on those matchups and making sure that we're keeping the ball in bounds when we throw it. So, I think it's something that we need in our offense, but we also need explosive plays off of 7-yard throws and guys making people miss, and explosive plays off of the screen game. It isn't just throwing it deep. So we want to be very multiple in that point, but we're going to need some guys to make some plays down the field to win this football game.
You already spoke on Caleb Williams and his improv, how it's important to the USC offense. How do you expect to shut him down throughout his improvisational
That's a big word you use there, shut him down. That's not going to happen. We got to work to control it. And I thought the one team that did that was Oregon State. I thought they controlled it very well. And keeping things in front and being smart, and even when he scrambled, getting some people in front of him and not letting them run and take off. I mean, this guy is a weapon, and he uses every weapon at his disposal. So you don't shut down anybody that is this caliber. You just got to hopefully you can get some hits on him when he runs, and you got to affect him and not let him be on his spots, but you can't let him get out and beat you off a deep scramble play. So it's a very unique challenge, and we need to be at our best on Saturday to win this game.
And Lincoln Riley has been incredible basically everywhere he's went with good quarterbacks and prolific offenses. How do you think you match up with him coaching-wise, and how much of a chess match do you expect this to be?
Well, I think Coach Riley obviously is the peak offensive mind probably in the country, and there's a lot of guys out there, but he's still calling the plays. He's still in the grind that way where I'm still more head coach and managing things. So it isn't me versus him. I don't know, maybe I could D him up a little bit if we went one-on-one, but, calling plays, he's phenomenal. I think he puts his guys in unique situations, and he's so multiple. And I just think the way he sees it and calls it is as good as there is out there. And that's why he has all the accolades. That's why he's done it that well over time. So it's a challenge, but fortunately, like I said, our guys will be ready to go and they'll be excited to play.
Coach, I know you just talked about Caleb Williams a little bit. Does it help that you faced a guy like Bo Nix fairly recently that, can make things happen with his feet as well in this matchup?
Yeah. I mean, I just think it's the different style of offenses, but I think similar type of impactful players. And I think Caleb's going to take some of those deep shots, some rail throws, some next level first round draft pick type throws out there. So that's the difference. But at the end of the day, I think anytime you play an elite quarterback, it's good to have that experience.
And a lot of the teams you've played most recently, like Cal, stopped the run, Wisconsin stopped the run, Oregon stopped the pass, but this number 6 team in the country for a reason. They can do pretty much everything. Is there any point of emphasis for this game that you guys are looking to stop or excel in to potentially get the win?
And that was the one thing with the Oregon game. We didn't officially stop the run to get them in bad situations where we knew they were passing, right? So we were on our heels. Like, we need to stay at the forefront of the chains and make sure we have the ability to attack. And I think that's what you have to do, but you got to pick and choose your spots wisely, right? Because all of a sudden they can take the best wide receiver in the country down the field and beat you. So our guys are excited for the challenge. We'll have a great game plan. These are the weeks where everyone understands what's at stake. Everyone understands the challenge. Everyone understands going in to this environment and playing big-time football. But that's also why our guys are here. They're excited for it, and we're going to be ready. And the effort level and the excitement is going to be huge, but it still comes down to us executing. It isn't about the environment. It isn't about going home. It's about executing in the moments against really good people and getting them down. Okay, so I'm excited for our guys. We got a lot of California guys on the roster, but at the end of the day, the focus needs to be high on their jobs and what every man on this trip needs to do.
I guess the last question I have is, in a game like this, an offense as explosive as them, how important is time of possession? Are you guys going to try to be running more to keep the ball in your hands a little bit more in this matchup?
Well, I would say this. It's interesting. Analytically, they have the least amount of possessions per game in the country, which is a surprising stat when I saw it this morning. So, we got to play the way we play, and yes, that means moving the chains against good people. It means we can't have 3 and outs and backed up, and we got to win the field position battle, and we need another game breaker in special teams. So it is more than just possessing the ball. But to your point, we got to make sure we're efficient on third down. And I thought Saturday's game against Cal, we were unbelievable in third and long, right? We converted on a lot of those. Against a really good USC defense, we got to get that medium and short and make sure we're churning some things out. So I think that's a big focus on what we want to do, and it goes back to positive plays on first down.
On Saturday, you spoke to the improvement your secondary made from Oregon to Cal to the matchup against Cal. What was the preparation that went into that your guys did over the past week?
I missed your whole question because I was excited for the Mariners t-shirt. Congratulations to the Mariners. This is phenomenal. I'm a secondary Mariners fan. My Brewers are fighting to try to get in, but congratulations to the Mariners. Go ahead and ask your question again. I just lost that. I'm sorry.
Go M's, Coach. All right. It's all right. So what was the improvement that your secondary made, and what was the preparation that went into that?
Well, I think it was communication. And I think that was the emphasis coming out of that game. They took it seriously. We trimmed some things down, cleaned some things up, allowed these guys to play a little bit faster, and it showed. And I think that was great. We feel very confident to get Jordan Lee back this week, and I'm excited about that. We need him, his experience. He's seen everything, his physicality. So those are things that are going to help. And then I think, obviously, keeping those guys fresh. Oregon, I think you saw them wear down. Jaden Hicks can play both positions. I think that'll help our versatility back there. And Jay Lee brings a sense of calm confidence, right? When you played that long, he's been in this defense. He's seen a lot of things. That'll help our confidence back there as well.
And what leadership does Amari Marsh bring to the secondary? He spoke about speaking to every member of the defense every time they take the field. What kind of things does he do that sets him apart?
Well, I think obviously he's a 2-time captain. We all know Armani's story and walking on here and how hard he works. But I think the respect level that the whole team has for Armani Marsh is incredible. He wasn't just voted captain, he was the highest vote getter on either side of the ball. So when he speaks, which he doesn't often, right, everyone listens. And the hard work and dedication and effort that Armani put in is second to none. And I think he gets the results on the field because he maximizes his ability every day. So when Armani speaks, you listen, including myself. right? And when he comes to me with stuff, I know it's well thought out. He puts everything into it, and it's really important to him. So that's the type of leadership that you love to have on your team.
And with this being only the second road trip of the year, what sort of travel routines and best practices do you have for your guys?
Well, it is unique. I mean, to start 4 or 5 at home, I think is pretty unique. So we got to make sure we get back out to it. But, we really stay on schedule, and obviously traveling this one on the West Coast is important. But every Friday night that we do here in town at the hotel, we do on the road. So it really mirrors that type of preparation as we go. And, our guys will be excited.
Just a couple guys wanted to see if you had an update on with Zariah Beeson and Caleb Ford-Demenda. Have you talked to Caleb about what maybe comes next for next year?
We haven't had those conversations yet, and Zariah won't be with the program.
This might be a tough question, but I'm going to challenge you on it. Through 5 weeks, most improved player from week 1.
That is a good question. A couple guys really come to my mind. The first one is Christian Hilborn, just based on the way he played last week and the stability that he's had with Kingston. The second one that's really starting to show up is Leighton Smithson. I know he had a couple catches last week. He's been battling through a little injury, but you've seen some speed plays out of him, and his development has been really high, really high. I always knew what Jaden Hicks could be, but then to go out and do it is a whole nother thing that I think he's been there. And I think last week it showed, missing Christian Mejia in that Oregon game, what he can do, and his consistency has just been phenomenal. So the other one that really has risen his level of play to me is Shaw Smith-Wade. So Shaw has done a good job of really, obviously replacing Jalen and just making plays at a high level. So I think those are, when you put me on the spot, those are some guys that really come to mind.
As the season's gone on, has the receiver rotation really changed in the way you guys are using it, or trying to get more guys involved? How's it kind of changed?
Well, I think the big one is getting Rob healthy. And obviously everyone sees what Rob can do, but that has allowed us to be more flexible with Lincoln and using him a little bit more outside, right? So I think that's what you saw on Saturday, and we'll continue to do that. And if we stay healthy at all positions, Orion can be rotating inside, and then you even saw Meredith get out there, make his first catch. Zion, Leighton, Lincoln, Don, Strib. Want to keep these guys fresh and playing fast. So really credit to Strib. I mean, he really played through a hard ankle injury last week, and really proud of his toughness and some of that grit that he showed on Saturday too. So we got a hungry group, and I think overall the receivers. I remember that Idaho game to where we are now. It feels like worlds apart. So excited about their growth as well as a group.
Last one, you spoke to this a little bit, but I mean, you guys have played a few real big games so far this year, and top 10 opportunity on the road. Obviously, a huge atmosphere. And do you find it's better to kind of downplay the magnitude of these games, or treating it like every other game? How difficult is it to do in a week like this?
It isn't if that's what we do every week, and I think that's what I try to do when we really set the table. So we watch the tape this morning, we come back this afternoon and start on our new opponent. It's the same 1-0 plan. And I think it's when guys, I think you just realize the magnitude of the games, and I think they know that. But at the end of the day, how we prepare and win each and every game is the same. How we talk about it is the same. And it's going to take a lot of discipline to win this football game. And I think that's got to be our edge this week. So we've talked about it. It's one of our core values, and excited to really put that on display.
Yeah, so what is the most important thing your defense and the different position groups on your defense can do to be difference makers in this game?
Well, I think the first one is we got to take the ball away. We got to find ways. I mean, they have been unbelievable. I think one turnover all year, just the last game. So shows the type of level they've been operating at offensively. So we got to find a way to get some takeaways, and that's ripping at the ball. That's max effort. That's when the ball's in the air. We got to go make a play. So that'll be a big part of this game that, we need to be great in the turnover margin. That's offensively. That's also taking it away defensively. And like I said, we got to pick and choose our spots to play aggressively. And when we do that, we got to trust our guys are going to make plays too. We got good players too. That's the exciting part, right? And they get to go show that. So it isn't just them, and I understand the challenge, but I love our guys, right? So we got to pick and choose spots where we go be aggressive too, and we're dictating. So we'll do that as coaches, and we'll have our guys amped up, ready to play.
Kind of a silly question. So Colton asked a few weeks ago about nicknames. So what I've seen mainly is Crimson Curtain and Hellcats. Are you a fan of either of those?
No, I'm not, because I'm going to be real honest. The last time we talked about nicknames, we didn't play so well, right? So let's worry about that stuff after the season. You know what I'm saying? That's where I sit on all that stuff without going full Coach Saban on you. You know what I mean? Just let's wait for that. Let these guys play. It's a long season, and, we got a lot to prove. Thanks, guys. Go Cougs.
We have much more sports content available for you to watch right now on KREM 2+. To find it, just navigate to the Sports tab at the top of your screen. I'm Travis Green. Thanks for watching.